Over the last couple of weeks, we've been announcing an upcoming fundraiser that's being put on by an organization known as Gr8ter Veterans. And as we always strongly encourage you folks, you guys need to log on, check this out, and then do the right thing. Click on the button there on that webpage that is going to sell you some tickets to this fundraiser that is coming up on Saturday, September 9th. 5:30 p.m. start time. It's going to be at Center Place Event Center over in Spokane Valley. And all you got to do is log on to www.gr8terveterans.com. And let me spell that front part of that webpage. It's GR, the number 8, TER, veterans.com. Again, www.gr, the number 8, TER, veterans.com. If you can't do the internet thing, you can definitely pick up the phone and dial them up at 953-3513. Again, 953-3513. And who am I talking about? 15. Oh, okay. That'd be 3515.
There you go.
All right. I'm sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Again, 953-3515. And that gentleman that you were hearing from is none other than the CEO of Gr8ter Veterans, Nick Richardson. So welcome to the Right Spokane Perspective.
Thank you guys for having me on again. It was a pleasure last time. Hopefully this time will be just as much fun.
Oh yeah, you bet. Now just a quickie introduction here. Give folks a little bit of an idea who Nick is. Where you been, Nick, as far as your military service is concerned, and what prompted you to start this organization, Gr8ter Veterans?
I served from 99 to 03 in Germany primarily, did a tour in Kosovo in 2002. So I've been around the world a little bit. I'm from Spokane, so that's kind of the history of the military side. I was artillery. What prompted me is in 2012, I went through a period of depression similar to PTSD, and I identified these core services that makes up Gr8ter Veterans as helping me through it. And I think it's going to help a lot of our guys and gals as well as their families through a lot of things we face as veterans.
Yeah, you betcha. You bet. Well, I love the field artillery, man, and I really loved what the motto was, i.e. fire and forget. Because I'll tell you, sighting technology, aiming technology, the use of computer-aided programs to actually guide and steer our artillery pieces is just so darn impressive nowadays, man. Basically, all you're doing is you're loading up, for the most part, loading up the coordinates and hitting that fire button. And so it's literally fire and forget and then move on to the next target, man. I'm loving it.
Yeah, more or less. A lot less.
I know. You got to have been there and done that in order to know for sure. But anyway, I just love the guys in the FA for sure. All right. You've started this organization, Gr8ter Veterans, and, what was the purpose for that? And then let's talk a little bit about this acronym known as EVAC.
So the purpose is basically, a long story short, I got sick and tired myself, as well as seeing it, guys, gals waiting on the VA to take care of them. The Army kind of taught me to lead from the front, so that's kind of the approach I took to it.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to do, lead from the front, be the example, show people, we can go out there and kick the world in the backside and take things ourselves. As far as the EVAC goes, I thought, on the business side of things, you got to have a way to market the name of the center itself, which will be the EVAC Center. And I came up with the acronym EVAC, which means Every Veterans Assistance Center, because as veterans, when we hear EVAC, it means getting out of a bad situation.
That's right. That's right. It does. Yeah, I'm loving it. Every Veterans Action Center. Assistance Center. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. They're utilizing that acronym EVAC for sure. Now, let's kind of switch gears here. I know that you've engaged in some fundraising in the past. Your organization is a couple of years old now. Where are you at right now with a brick and mortar center and, as far as services and whatnot that you're able to provide?
So right now what we're doing is we're doing brand building to where when we go to DC, we can, present to the House and the Senate and, who knows, maybe the president eventually and say, hey, here's why this is a good alternative program to the VA. Here's our track history. Here's our brand building. Here's who we know, who we've worked with. And, kind of prove we're not another fly-by-night or another group like Wounded Warrior. So That's where we're at with that. In terms of the actual getting the center up and running process, we're working with a couple state representatives to write a few grants. We're working on getting an office somewhere, even if it's just a closet with a door on it right now, so we have a physical address. And then September 9th will be our last event we're going to host for the year. We may participate in a few other ones, but we're gearing up for a big push next year, and that's going to take some writing, fundraising, and some help from all of you.
Oh, yeah, you betcha. And, you know, obviously, you've got contact information that you can leave when you log on to your particular webpage. You guys putting out a newsletter or periodic emails and things like that?
Yeah, what we're doing there is I'm personally running our Facebook, which is Gr8ter Veteran Spokane. It's spelled the normal way you'd spell Gr8ter. And what we're doing there is I try and give people an insight into me. So that, you know, because, I mean, people want to know who they're supporting, not just the organization, but who. So I do everything from talk about daily issues to, you know, music I'm listening to why I'm supporting a certain group or not. Try and throw out some veteran products out there that I personally support. An Army buddy of mine makes beard cream, for example. So, you know, I obviously have a beard, so I have a vested interest in that in more ways than one. So I have his link on our website. Wooby Shoes, Rick was a Special Forces veteran. He donates a percentage all profit to the Special Forces Charitable Trust, which helps the survivors pay for different things, medical expenses, etc.
Right, yeah.
So I ordered a pair of those for me and my son. So, you know, different things like that. I'm looking at giving back, grunt style. There's different groups out there, Frag Out, that I work with. So
yeah, that's wonderful, man. And, you know, I mean, it's really, really sad, Nick, that, you know, you, like many other veterans, and, you know, in this particular regard, it was good because, but at the same time, it's very, very sad that these guys come back from overseas assignments, they come back from the war zones, etc., and then they see what is going on and what has been going on in our Veterans Administration, and it's kind of like, oh, my word. You know, when is the government going to end up pulling their heads out and, you know, making the veterans the #1 priority like they had preached to us before, during, and after? We've raised our hand, we've signed the dotted line, issued that blank check for everything up to our lives, et cetera, and so forth. So my hat's off to you, you know, for taking the bull by the horns and, you know, trying to fill a niche that is really, really needy right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's tough. I mean, you know, I do 40 hours a week at work plus this, and this is a lot of times 40 hours plus, you know, that you see a lot of what I do on the outside. And that's why we're looking at what type of events we can put together that are going to have the most effect. And, you know, our upcoming event, I don't know if you mentioned that yet or not, but bringing in a guy like John Burke that has passion for, you know, holding the VA accountable, but yet supporting the veteran community, I think it's going to be a huge step in the right direction for us. Bringing in someone that, you know, will get your name out there a little bit more, but also has a passion for veteran causes himself.
Well, and if I remember correctly, some of the stuff I've seen through Facebook, John Burke's style is not exactly politically correct. It's the old hoorah kind of methodology of getting it done. You just charge through. And politically, what our veterans are facing these days is more or less a political correctness forced on our military that was never there before. And so I think some of the challenges that veterans come back with will be, you know, maybe different than just some of the basic PTSD, and maybe PTSD will be from the changing of the morale inside the military that we're going to have to start looking at with veterans. Because I've heard from you know, service members who said, "Man, I wish I could get out of this before this thing goes completely wacko." But we're also seeing a changing of the guard too, as far as the administration. So we'll see how that changes the narrative. I'm not military. I'm always, you know, just on the outside looking in. But hearing from veterans, a lot of times they don't have a lot to say. They're just shaking their head.
Well, I mean, that's all you can do in some cases. I mean, you know, you don't want to get demoted. You don't want to get shamed. You don't want to cost yourself money or a chance at promotion or, you know, re-enlistment if you get out for a bit and want to go back in. And there is a lot going on that they didn't have to face when, even when I was in. But again, in some ways it's softer, in some ways it's tougher. But I don't know. I think, like our military always has, we'll find a way to win. That's what we do. That's what we do as an American people. We fight and we win. That's all there is to it.
Oh, you bet. I love what you're saying, man, because that reminds me of good old Army training. And speaking of military, one thing that I do need to make perfectly clear, since Tim hit the nail on the head, he's not a military guy. So just a small correction, buddy, and that would be hoorah happens to belong to the Marines. Hoo-yah is the Army. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break and be right back.